Within 24 hours, the human brain can forget up to 70% of newly learned information, not because of laziness or a lack of intelligence, but because it's wired to prioritize survival over memorization. Unless information is reinforced, it gets discarded. So the key to remembering what you read isn't about consuming more. It's about making what you consume unforgettable. Over the past 5 years, I've built a study system that works in sync with how the brain stores and retrieves knowledge. I relied on it through 2 demanding master's programs, one in international relations, the other in data science. Both required deep, lasting comprehension of complex material. This system helped me absorb dense textbooks, academic articles, and technical content and retain it long term. What you're about to learn is grounded in cognitive science. It's used by memory champions, medical students, and elite learners to absorb and recall vast amounts of information without burnout. You don't need to study longer. You just need to study smarter. Let's start with a scientific truth that changes everything. Forgetting is not a flaw, it's a function. Back in the late 1800s, psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus mapped out something called the forgetting curve. It shows how quickly the brain discards new information unless it's actively reinforced. After just one day, half of what you've learned is gone. By the end of the week, almost all of it disappears. Traditional methods like rereading, highlighting, or cramming try to fight this curve passively. They create the illusion of learning, but they don't challenge the brain to retrieve or reconstruct knowledge, which is exactly what builds strong memory. To solve this, we need to move from passive review to deliberate encoding. My approach breaks learning into 2 essential phases. Phase 1, accurate acquisition, making sure what enters your brain is clear and meaningful. Phase 2, durable retention, making sure what enters stays. If you skip the second phase, even the most disciplined reading session becomes a leaky bucket. To bridge these 2 phases, I use a framework I call MAPS. It's not about directions, it's about encoding knowledge deeply. Here's what it stands for. M, methods, learn by doing. The brain remembers what it experiences. If you're learning practical skills like coding, languages, or presentations, immediate application is essential. Reading or watching passively, that leads to shallow storage. Instead, put the new knowledge into use right away. Say the vocabulary out loud, write a few lines of code, explain what you've just read in real time. When you engage your senses and actions, the motor and emotional systems of the brain activate and memory becomes stickier. A, analogies, create mental connections. Brains are not filing cabinets. They're webs of associations. The more links you create between new and old knowledge, the easier recall becomes. Use analogies to turn abstract ideas into relatable images. Think of an electrical circuit like water flowing through pipes. Voltage, that's pressure. Resistance, a narrow section of the pipe. The more vivid and familiar the connection, the stronger the memory. P, principles. Understand the why. Memorizing facts might get you through a quiz, but understanding the principles behind them builds lasting knowledge. Focus on why something works. Go deeper than definitions. For example, don't just memorize Newton's laws. Understand inertia. The next time your car stops suddenly and you lurch forward, your brain should go, inertia. Objects in motion stay in motion unless acted upon. Principles explain patterns, and patterns are memorable. S, specifics. Use active recall and spaced repetition. Some information, like dates, names, formulas, requires memorization, but how you memorize them changes everything. The 2 most powerful methods are active recall, forcing your brain to retrieve information without looking at your notes. Spaced repetition, reviewing the material in increasing intervals, 1 day, 3 days, 1 week. Apps like Anki or Quizlet automate this process, but the principle stays the same. Struggle to remember, and the memory becomes stronger. Here's how I use active recall in real time. After studying a topic, I close the book and explain it in my own words. Then I use flashcards, question on one side, answer on the back, and test myself regularly. I teach the concept to a friend or simulate teaching it out loud, even if I'm alone. And I build mind maps to visualize the full topic, then recreate the map from memory. Each of these methods forces my brain to work harder, and that's exactly what makes information last. The retrieval pyramid. Think of memory like a muscle. The more you retrieve, the stronger it becomes. At the bottom of the pyramid is recognition. It's easy, but weak. At the top is synthesis and teaching. Harder, but powerful. The more time you spend at the top, the faster you learn, and the less you forget. I used to spend hours reading, only to forget most of it days later. Now, I spend less time studying, but the information sticks. This shift didn't just improve my exam results. It made learning feel purposeful, energizing, and even exciting. If you apply what you've learned today and build your study habits around methods, analogies, principles, and specifics, paired with active recall and spaced repetition, you'll remember more, understand more deeply, and study with confidence. I'll be sharing more videos soon to help you build an advanced advanced study system. From managing focus and mental energy to staying consistent when motivation dips to mastering exam strategy without burnout. Everything I share is designed to help you study smarter, not harder. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one.